Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because you want to get smart, fast, on the things that matter. Today, we're stepping into the squared circle, looking at professional wrestling, specifically the main event of WrestleMania 41.
That's right. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And, well, the reaction it got, it was pretty vocal.
Yeah, definitely vocal. So for this deep dive, we've got a couple of things we're looking at.
We do. We've got an analysis of that WrestleMania 41 main event itself, the match, the fans, all of it. And also a really interesting piece that came out of a documentary about WrestleMania 9. Bit of history there.
Right. And our mission today, really, is to figure out why. Why did that WrestleMania 41 ending feel so flat?
Yeah.
So disappointing to so many. And is this like a new thing? Or have WrestleMania endings, had issues before?
It's a great question because the WrestleMania 9 piece highlights this fascinating contrast, doesn't it? You had Hulk Hogan winning the title unexpectedly.
Yeah, big surprise finish.
Huge. And the live crowd in Vegas apparently went absolutely wild, cheering, ecstatic. But now you look back and it's often described as, well, a low point, a really rough moment for the company.
It's strange, that disconnect. The immediate reaction versus how it's remembered later.
Totally. It makes you think about how narratives shift, how time changes perspective on these big moments.
Okay, so let's get into WrestleMania 41 then. The fallout. The general feeling seems to be disappointment.
Yeah, disappointment is a good word. Our analysis used phrases like ended with a thud and left a, quote, dry taste in the mouths of everyone watching. Oof.
That doesn't sound good. So what were the specific complaints? Was it just that Cena won?
Well, that was part of it for some, sure, but it seems like it was more than just the result. The criticisms point towards like the booking, how the match was planned out, and the production, the whole presentation of it. It just didn't click.
Right. I remember reading about Cena's heel turn leading up to it. It felt a bit uninspired.
Yeah, the source mentioned that Elimination Chamber attack got people talking for a minute.
But then the match itself.
Exactly. The match had these moments that just felt off. Cody Rhodes apparently barely got any real shots in on Travis Scott.
Oh, yeah, that part.
And then there was that, tug of war with the belt. Almost felt awkward.
And the finish itself.
Yeah.
The low blow from Cena, the headshot, standard heel stuff maybe, but...
But the execution, yeah. The analysis really highlighted the referee's count afterwards. Incredibly slow, 15 seconds slow.
Wow.
And apparently, Michael Cole, the commentator, kind of just ignored the weirdness, focused on Cena making history instead of the shenanigans.
Which just adds to that feeling of it being kind of weird, right?
Right.
Like not earned.
Yeah, unearned or just unsatisfying, something missing.
And the source material mentioned a big thing was what happened after the match, or rather what didn't happen.
Right. No post-match angle, no appearance by The Rock, which some people expected. Nothing to really, set up the next chapter.
It just ended.
Pretty much, which felt like a huge missed opportunity, especially because, some felt they were maybe trying to recreate that kind of chaotic energy from WrestleMania 17's ending.
The Austin heel turn finish. Legendary stuff.
The legendary, exactly. And this wasn't that. Not even close, it seems. That comparison really highlights the difference.
Yeah, the WM17 ending, even at the heel turn, felt like it mattered. It launched huge stories.
Right. This WrestleMania 41 ending seems to have just deflated things.
There was that mention of George Kittle, the NFL player, looking completely stunned in the crowd.
Yeah, a perfect snapshot of that fan disbelief, wasn't it? Did that really just happen?
Okay, so that's 41, kind of a downer. Let's jump back to WrestleMania 9. Also in Las Vegas, interestingly.
Yep, back to Vegas. The reflective piece we looked at sets that scene well. Yokozuna beats Bret Hart for the title.
Already a big deal.
Huge deal. But then, immediately after, Hulk Hogan comes out, challenges Yokozuna, and wins the title in seconds.
And the live crowd.
Apparently just erupted. Pure joy, shock, excitement, that immediate visceral reaction.
But over time,
yeah,
that changed.
Massively. Now, that moment is often pointed to as symbolic. Symbolic of the company being desperate, maybe making questionable calls.
And Hogan.
And Hogan being, as one source put it, a pro wrestling politician at his selfish worst. Pretty harsh.
Wow. That's a complete turnaround from the initial cheers.
It really is. And it shows how context matters, right? What came after, how it affected other wrestlers like Bret Hart. It all shapes how we see it now.
And the piece made that Vegas connection again, didn't it? Likening disappointing WrestleMania endings there to Game of Thrones.
Haha. Yeah, a bit of a cheeky comparison, but it links Vegas to these letdowns. Maybe there's something in the desert air.
Or maybe it's just coincidence. But it does make you think about other WrestleMania endings that maybe didn't quite hit the mark.
Oh, definitely. And our sources brought up others, too. It's not just 9 and 41.
Like what?
Well, Triple H's wins, WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania 25. He won the big one,
Right.
but both times his match followed an absolute classic. Rock versus Hogan at 18, Michaels versus Undertaker at 25. It's hard to follow acts like that, especially as the villain winning. It can kind of kill the buzz.
Yeah, I can see that. Tough spot. What else?
There was John Cena again, actually, back in 2006 and 2007, winning the main event both years with basically the same finishing sequence.
Oh, right. Predictable isn't exactly what you want for your biggest show's ending.
Not really, no. Predictability can suck the life out of it. And then you had the whole Roman Reigns situation, where WrestleMania 33 and 34, the company really wanted him to be the guy.
But the crowd reaction was lukewarm. Or worse.
Yeah, indifference, even booing sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely not the coronation they were hoping for. It just felt forced to a lot of fans.
And even WrestleMania 39, more recently. Solo Sikoa interfering in the main event. Felt a bit been there, done that.
Exactly. A familiar trope.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see this pattern emerging, these endings that just don't quite satisfy everyone or even leave a large chunk feeling cold.
So we're definitely seeing a theme here. Which leads to the bigger question, I guess. Why? Why do these happen?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? One source, playing on that Vegas theme, jokingly compared the WrestleMania 41 outcome to the lumbering Raiders franchise since they moved there.
Ouch. Bit harsh on the Raiders, maybe?
Maybe. But beyond the Vegas jokes, it points to something deeper, right? About WWE's creative choices.
What's the suggestion there?
Well, the analysis kind of positions WrestleMania 41 as maybe the worst example of this botched ending phenomenon, even considering all the history we just talked about.
Totally worse than Hogan at 9.
Potentially, in terms of just feeling like a complete creative misfire in the modern era. It makes you wonder about the decision-making process, what leads them to conclusions that seem destined to disappoint a big part of the audience.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. It sounds like the WrestleMania 41 ending Cena's win, the slow count, the lack of follow-up, it wasn't just a one-off bad night.
No, it seems to fit into a broader pattern. We've seen these underwhelming or controversial WrestleMania finishes before. WrestleMania 9 is the classic historical example.
Right, the Hogan win.
But also those Triple H wins after classics, the repetitive Cena finishes, the failed Reigns coronations, even the predictable interference last year, it's a recurring theme.
So this deep dive basically gives us the context. Understanding WrestleMania 41 means understanding this history of sometimes unsatisfying endings.
Exactly. It shows that fan frustration with how the biggest show ends isn't new. It's happened before for different reasons.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe? Something for listeners to chew on.
Go for it.
With fan expectations constantly changing, especially now with, the internet and constant discussion, what is a satisfying WrestleMania ending anymore?
Good question.
Is it just about who wins? Does the hero have to triumph? Or is it more about the story told in the match, the execution, the feeling it leaves you with, even if the wrong person wins sometimes?
Yeah. Is it the destination or the journey? Or maybe how the journey ends? Lots to think about there.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.